Welcome to the Zono Sports Show, where you know Zonos. I'm so sorry I missed you guys last week, but we're back this week, ready to roll. Now, speaking of rolling, let me check the time on that. Fitzmagic has ran out, and it ran out at the strike of 11:30 last night when Big Ben and the Pittsburgh Steelers went into Tampa Bay and were able to effectively take down the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, I will say that Ryan Fitzpatrick has done a phenomenal job of leading this team in Jameis Winston's absence due to his suspension. However, the Steelers, they needed this win. They did not want to go 0-3. You had all the drama with Antonio Brown last week not showing up to work on last Monday. And then also you have Le'Veon Bell still holding out, who has in fact been put on the trade market. And the Steelers are listening to trade talks from numerous teams, according to sources. The New York Jets being one of those main partners who have shown interest in Le'Veon Bell, which if I'm the New York Jets, why wouldn't I? Because if you have a running back the caliber of Le'Veon Bell who you can pair with a young quarterback like Sam Darnold, I think that definitely bodes for some success. It leads you in the direction of being able to prosper in the NFL because we know the New York Jets have not prospered in quite some time, maybe since the Bill Parcells days. But I will say last night, I really enjoyed watching the Steelers exhibit toughness. You know, Big Ben, I think that they've lacked that. And Big Ben showed that he can still lead and make those Big Ben type plays. He made one late in the game by slipping a tackle and then throwing the ball out to his receiver, Juju Smith-Schuster. And they were able to cap the game off with that play. And then James Conner has done a phenomenal job of filling in for Le'Veon Bell while he hasn't been there. Now, the first half, it was a blowout. What was it, 30-13? And then you have Ryan Fitzpatrick, who came in and he had a rough first half, had the 3 interceptions. However, he came in the second half and was able to show and give some life to that Tampa Bay stadium by completing 3 touchdown passes for another week and also threw for 400 yards. Now, the play of the game, I will say, though, the one that I think really showed that this Steelers team is not going anywhere and they're still here to ball, Vance McDonald. Now, I want to say he's a tight end from Rice. Vance McDonald, he started out with the 49ers. He's on the Steelers now. The stiff arm on Chris Conte, the safety. And then you see Chris Conte fall down, and then Vance McDonald runs to the end zone. That's the type of toughness that you need to wake up a team, especially when you're a team like the Steelers who have been struggling all year to get their footing in this very young season. And we're only through the first quarter of the season. Now, Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's the story of the night because people wonder whether or not this job will be his once Jameis Winston completes this suspension. He's able to play next week. After the game, Dirk Cutter said that we're happy that Jameis Winston is a part of this football team. Now, to me, that doesn't speak volumes about the fact that he is the starter or the starting quarterback, franchise quarterback, whatever you want to refer to him as, of these Tampa Bay Buccaneers. However, leads me to ask the question, should Ryan Fitzpatrick keep the job? Well, he's the first quarterback to have 3 400-yard games in a row. So for me, or through the first 3 games, for me, I think that Ryan Fitzpatrick has done enough this season to maintain that job. There's no reason to bench him. He's got something good going. The team buys into what he's doing. They like his attitude, his swag. Last week you saw him with the shades, with the jacket, the McGregor look going. This team has bought into Fitzmagic, and there's no reason to stop the train while it's rolling. Because if you do, you risk losing a team. Because you tell the coach, hey, it doesn't matter how, the coach is telling the players, it doesn't matter how well you're balling. Even if we have a guy that we've invested so much money in, we're going to put him back in, whether you're balling or not. So Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's a veteran quarterback. He's savvy. However, he does Fitzpatrick things from time to time. The 3 interceptions in the first half, that speaks to his overall work over the past 14 years that he's been in the NFL or whatever. But Ryan Fitzpatrick this year, he ain't with the Jets. This isn't the Jets Fitzpatrick, at least not yet. He's somebody who I think has earned the right to continue to ball. Deshaun Jackson likes playing with him. The defense plays for him. There's no reason why that he should have to sit down and surrender the job back to Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston's got some growing up to do. If I'm the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I'm not sure that I'm totally sold on keeping this guy as my franchise quarterback. He's young. He made a mistake when he was young, but he's made multiple mistakes. You know, we could talk about the crab legs from the supermarket, standing up on the table yelling, "I want you in the you know the rest of that term. Those are things that happened at Florida State. Now, this Uber incident was when he was a rookie in the NFL. Yeah, young, immature, but when will he learn? Maybe this was a lesson for him, seeing that you can get your job snatched away. Moving right along, the Arizona Cardinals, they stink. Bad. 0-3 start. Sam Bradford, I never thought he was that guy when he was at Oklahoma. Yeah, he won the Heisman because he had a great system, played with great players, but I just never thought that he was the guy there or in St. Louis or wherever he's been. Josh Rosen is in for Sam Bradford. Josh Rosen will have to prove that the comments he made about there were nine mistakes made ahead of him. He'll have to prove those comments and back those up when the season begins for him in this fourth game, because 0-4 is not a good look for head coach Steve Wilks, and he had to pull the string on Sam Bradford because Josh Rosen's a guy that's young, he's talented. Can he stand back there in the pocket, deliver throws, and not be reckless? He has a tendency to just kind of hang the ball up there and get it picked off. But he's sharp, he's smart, he understands football. Maybe he'll give the Cardinals a better chance to compete for wins, because I feel sorry for guys like Larry Fitzgerald who are in the twilight of their career and it's just about done. And then you got guys like Patrick Peterson who are all pro. They should be able to play on teams that are going to win games, right? Jimmy Garoppolo tore his ACL against the Chiefs, out for the season, non-contact injury. He was their man. Hopefully he gets well soon. I really feel bad for the 49ers because they really, truly don't know what they've invested in. They just gave him a big-time contract, $100 million man, and now he played a little bit for you last year, a little bit for you this year. What did you really buy? What did you purchase? You don't know because you only have a small sample size. Will they draft a quarterback in the 49ers? We shall see. I don't see their record being phenomenal this year because their franchise quarterback just went out and they were still in the process of building. Luckily, they got to hold on to Reuben Foster. Jon Gruden may not have been the answer in Oakland. The Raiders are 0-3. Yeah, he looked good up on Monday Night Football talking all this and that, the X's and O's, and with those great sayings, the turkey keister or whatever. That's all fine and dandy, but when you're talking about results and those translating to wins on the field, Jon Gruden, you got to deliver. And for me, time of possession, 38 minutes versus the Dolphins, and you guys were only able to muster up, 20 points? And really, you only had 17 for the game. And it looks to me as though that you're playing old-style football, and you guys don't play any defense. I'm sure you do regret not having the pass rusher Khalil Mack on the defense at linebacker, because you look over there to the NFC North, and the Chicago Bears are doing pretty good with Khalil Mack right now. What are they, 2-1? Chicago is really going to be a team that's going to be reckoned with the next few years. I truly believe that, especially with the addition of Mack and just Trubisky coming along at quarterback. They've got some growth and potential, but Jon Gruden, you will live to regret that. Also, the Vikings, speaking of young quarterbacks, your boy Josh Allen for the Buffalo Bills, for him to go out there and blow out the Minnesota Vikings, who played in the NFC Championship game. Wow. That's all I will say. Wow. I've had a lot of Josh Allen jokes and puns over the past few weeks, off the air, on the record, off the record. But Josh Allen showed that he, in fact, may be a true NFL quarterback. Maybe he just say, you know what, who cares I'm from Wyoming? Who cares people think I'm not that good? I'm not ready. I got to show them now. And that's exactly what he did. So shout out to Josh Allen. Now, the win of last week, of course, Baker Mayfield. He is the savior of Cleveland football and sports right now at the current moment. Now, it could be Colin Sexton once basketball season starts. However, Baker Mayfield was able to enter the game last Thursday night against the New York Jets after Tyrod Taylor hurt his hand, and he led the Browns to their first win since December of 2016. That was 635 days ago from that win. Now, 17 for 21, 200 yards. They may say, that's okay, didn't throw for any touchdowns, but he is a adrenaline shot of energy once he entered this game for the rest of his teammates. You could see it on these guys' faces, on the way they played, the way they ran routes. Jarvis Landry had 100 receiving yards, my fantasy team. Jarvis Landry and the rest of the crew, Antonio Callaway, they all ball for this guy. They go hard for him. And when you have a team, you have a quarterback who you need to lead your team, you want guys who play at their maximum for an individual. And that's exactly what Baker Mayfield did. He was a winner in Oklahoma. He'll be a winner in the NFL. Great pick and decision by the Browns, although I do think they should have taken Saquon Barkley with the first pick in the NFL draft because they could have gotten Baker Mayfield with that fourth pick they had. But, to each his own. They're the GMs, but I'm sure this will work out. Roughing the passer rules definitely need to change. This has been the talk of the weekend, right? Talk of the weekend, besides the Browns getting that win. Now, a lot of players have had things to say about how they should be able to hit the quarterback once the ball leaves his hand. It's plain and simple. I mean, yes, there's a rule where you can't land all your body weight on a guy, but if you know that rule, then why even take the unnecessary shot? If he ain't got it, yeah, I know you want to get pressure on him, maybe take a little push, maybe a shove, but if he ain't got it, there's no point in touching him. Because obviously we've seen people with like Clay Matthews, also William Hayes from the Dolphins who tore his ACL trying to avoid landing his body weight on Derek Carr. We've seen guys get in all types of troubles, injuries and penalties. So why not, if he doesn't have the rock, don't touch him. Plain and simple. That's the best way to defend against roughing the passer penalties. So, I mean, yes, I agree that it's a little bit egregious for these type of penalties to affect the outcomes of games, considering the changes that they made. Because in my day, when you tackle a guy, you land all your body weight on him. You can't do that anymore. It's 2018. They don't get down like that. But we'll see if the NFL adjusts to that in season. I think that's something they should do. Definitely because you want to have a good product on the field. But also, you don't want quarterbacks just getting knocked out every other game. It's no fun when Aaron Rodgers can't play. It's no fun when a Tom Brady, people like that can't ball. Because those are the people that people come to see. Plain and simple. They got to protect their brand, protect the shield. And that's all the NFL's trying to do. I get that. But you also have to allow these players who play other positions to ball freely in the realms of the rules, right? Moving over to college football, my biggest surprise thus far this season, we're about through with a month. We're about a month into the season. My biggest surprise has been Kentucky football. Yes, no, I know it's not Coach Cal season. I know it's not college basketball, but Kentucky football, they are ranked for the first time since 2007. I want to say those were the Andre Woodson days when he played quarterback there. Benny Snell is a bona fide Heisman candidate. He's a junior. 87 carries, 540 yards, 7 TDs on the ground. Benny Snell, sir. Do you really smell that Heisman, or is it all just hype? Now, we shall see what the Cats do this weekend against South Carolina. However, they may be the team. They've already beaten Florida. They've already beaten Mississippi State. Now, if they beat South Carolina, they clearly control their own destiny up until when they get to Georgia. And that will be an interesting game to watch because I think it'll either be a tight Kentucky win or a blowout. Nothing in the middle. Georgia's not going to win a tight game against Kentucky. They'll either blow them out or it'll be a tight game for the Cats and they'll pull it out. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens this weekend because, I know South Carolina's coming off a big win at Vanderbilt, 37-14. However, it's Vanderbilt. Everybody's supposed to beat Vanderbilt, right? Except Tennessee the last couple years. However, the Cats are looking good, but if they do manage to win the East, they'll run into a buzzsaw, and that buzzsaw is known as Alabama. Yes, Alabama Roll Tide. They have had this weekend they had their tightest game of the year versus Texas A&M, and they still blew them out, 45-23. Tua Tagovailoa, 58 for 80 on the year completions, 1,000 yards. He's got 12 TDs, no interceptions. This guy is clearly the hands down Heisman favorite. He's a complete quarterback. He brings a new dimension to that offense, a guy that can stretch the ball out, stretch it way downfield. He's got receivers everywhere. You got Ruggs and you got Jerry Jeudy. You've got weapons everywhere. And then if something does happen or they need to switch up the tempo, they can bring in a Jalen Hurts. Now, I don't know if he'll redshirt because this was the fourth game. He played in this Texas A&M game a little bit. I don't know if he'll choose a redshirt, but fun stat for you. Tua Tagovailoa has not played in a fourth quarter this entire season. Now, what does that say to you? It says that Alabama's doing it in all three phases: offense, defense, and special teams. And that's why I think this year, this is the best team that I've seen Nick Saban have. I truly do. He's had some great teams, great defenses, great players, but they've had a few holes here and there, but they've still been able to dominate. This team, I see no flaws. I see no flaws. Now, the two playoff games, or de facto playoff games, that'll happen this weekend because we've got a matchup of four unbeaten teams. Ohio State versus Penn State, that'll be a whiteout. You got Dwayne Haskins versus Trace McSorley, Miles Sanders. Urban Meyer, can he handle the whiteout? Can he handle that atmosphere with James Franklin and the Wildcats? Excuse me, and the Nittany Lions. I'm calling them Wildcats. They got to play like Wildcats to beat Ohio State, right? but that'll be an interesting game to watch. I think it could be high scoring, a fun game to watch because both have issues on defense sometimes, especially Ohio State on the road. We saw it against TCU. But they were able to take control of that game. And then Stanford versus Notre Dame. I really like Stanford because they play well on the road. If you saw last week, they were able to outlast, come back, and beat Oregon in Eugene in overtime, 38-31. However, you wonder if that effort kind of maybe warmed down a little bit, and will they be completely ready for this contest against Notre Dame because they've got a little bit of an adrenaline shot of their own with Ian Book, their new quarterback there. He replaced Brandon Wimbush after a lackluster start to the season. He had 1 touchdown and like 4 interceptions, and they had a bunch of close wins against smaller schools. But Ian Book this past weekend, 3 rushing touchdowns, 2 in the air. He's someone that the Irish can depend on. Brian Kelly trusts that he can run the offense, move the ball down the field, and they'll have to do that against Stanford. So those will be 2 games that I'm interested in watching, and we'll just have to see what happens. I truly think that Ohio State will get the better of Penn State, and then I'm gonna go ahead and take Notre Dame over Stanford because Stanford, I really think they wasted a lot of energy. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside and K.J. Costello, they wasted a lot of energy, and then Bryce Love, he just has not been healthy for last year for quite some time, and then this year he's not. When is this guy ever going to be 100%? I'm gonna have to take Notre Dame in that game, but it'll be a fun weekend of college football to watch. And then NBA-wise, I'd love to talk about NBA Media Day briefly from yesterday. LeBron was doing an interview with the Los Angeles Lakers during Media Day, and he got asked all types of questions, and he said that the reason for him coming to LA was his family and the Lakers and basketball. And that's fine. That's all good. That's cool. Now I wondered to myself, was it really hoops or just Hollywood? I think that he does want to be a Muggle. He is a multimillionaire. He is someone who wants to get into film. He did the movie Trainwreck. I heard he was a little bit funny. Haven't seen that movie. However, he did just sign on to do Space Jam 2 with director Ryan Coogler, director of Black Panther. And I wonder, 2019, if you think about it, Space Jam came out, what, 1996? 1996. And if you think about it, that would be exactly 23 years to the year that Michael Jordan came out with this movie. I think that's very ironic. Now, I'm not a big math guy. Don't hold me to that. But I want to say 2019 from 2096, somewhere around close to 23. 2018, 20. This is. I look at all this and I say to myself, LeBron wants to show that he can be better than Michael Jordan in so many areas. I talk about this all the time. He wants to show the diversity of a superstar, a mega global icon, basketball star. If he can do a better job with Space Jam 2 and steal the kids when they forget about Michael Jordan doing Space Jam 1, then LeBron James has effectively surpassed Michael Jordan as the greatest basketball player of all time. And that may seem like a facetious thing to say, but it ain't. When you're talking about the spread of social media, the innovation of the internet, and how things have grown with apps and the way people consume media these days, Michael Jordan is becoming a distant memory to many of those who occupy those platforms in this day and age. So LeBron, if you're going to do Space Jam 2, you better ball out, bro. And you better do a heck of a job acting. And you better beat the Monstars. Because if you don't, oh, man. And don't try to give us a 3. We don't want a 3. Just a 2. Maybe we'll see Zion Williams in the third one, right? How about that? Zion Williamson in the third one. Space Jam 3, Zion Williamson, to be continued. All right. For me, the story of the weekend, Tiger Woods won the Tour Championship. It was his first win in 5 years. It was a story of, it was a scene of triumphant energy that we just haven't seen from the golf course in quite some time. Tiger Woods, the GOAT in many people's minds, was able to pull out a win. Yes, I know this wasn't a major, but it's his first win in 5 years. which means there's hope. And then maybe, just maybe, they'll let my mans get on that Ryder Cup team, right? Phil Mickelson is advocate for it. So, Phil, if you think you should get on, put a word in for him, Phil. But congrats to Tiger Woods for overcoming all the obstacles. It's been a rough time since 2009. Everybody's had their rough time. But definitely continue to ball, Tiger. Continue to golf well. And I'm sure that they will be giving you a call to come join that Ryder Cup team and take on the Europeans. I'm sure they will. Next show, we will wrap. MLB baseball playoffs will be coming out soon. Will be taking shape soon after this week. You got the Rockies and Dodgers. They're fighting for playoff supremacy. I look forward to seeing just what happens in general this weekend with these big games I talked about: Ohio State and Penn State, Stanford and Notre Dame. Be glued to your TV. Thank you for watching the Zone Sports Show, where Zoe knows.